Here's my top 12 games I played for the first time this year. Not games necessarily came out this year, because I have an enormous backlog, because I have this horrible habit where I'll scroll through the eShop and find a game that looks cool and put it on my wish list, and then when it goes on sale, I'll buy it and never play it. And now I have this huge backlog of games that I own and never play because I waste too much time playing the fucking Squid Game. Better than spending money on crack, I guess. But why top 12? Because there's 12 months in a year, 12 gods in the Greek pantheon, 12 divided by 3 is 4 paws, and I couldn't narrow it down to just 10, and there are even some honorable mentions, and a couple dishonorable mentions, that I'll now quickly talk about. Dauntless is free-to-play Monster Hunter. If you know me, you know I like Monster Hunter, and Monster Hunter, and Monster Hunter, and Monster Hunter, and Dauntless is basically Monster Hunter, except the graphics are kind of Fortnite-y? It's easier, more forgiving, and faster paced than Monster Hunter, which isn't necessarily a good thing. And the lobby is crazy laggy, which doesn't really affect the game. It's always just laggier than someone playing Dapple Dualies, but the gameplay itself is fine, and different enough for Monster Hunter to be its own thing. Overcooked 1. In 2018, I played a lot of Overcooked 2 with friends, so I went back and played the original this year, which is not as good, but is still overcooked. The only problem with this game is that it gives me war flashbacks to working in a Jimmy John's and having incompetent sandwich team members. Nate. Ultimate Chicken Horse. You troll the other players and try to block their path to the other side. So you know, the same way people make Mario Maker levels. What's wrong with you people? Niku. I've only played the co-op levels, but it's a game where you get to the end in a silly way. And here's games that I did play this year, but only for like half an hour. I didn't get around to it because Squid Game. And they're definitely very good games. I still need to go back and actually devote enough time to play them for real, so they'll probably be on the 2020 best games list. Hollow Knight, Hyper Light Drifter, Sonic Mania, Celeste, Stardew Valley, all of the Shovel Knight expansions, Undertale / Deltarune, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Others? Here we go, number 12, Pokemon Shield. Hot take incoming. I thought the new Pokemon game was okay? It's the most, it's fine, Pokemon game I've ever played. Not overwhelming, not underwhelming, just whelming. It definitely felt like a really good 3DS port, not a really good original Switch game. But what do you expect from the company that built their main series on handhelds for the past 20 plus years? Sword and Shield innovate in small ways, but is ultimately a little too formulaic, especially if you've played generations 1 through 6. Gen 7 broke the formula, and people complained because things were different, so it's back to the formula. It's a good formula, it's just the 7th time of said formula. My favorite part of the game was dressing up my trainer to look more fashionable than me in real life. Sexy as fuck. And catching some of the new guys, especially because they didn't reveal a lot of the new guys in the promo material leading up to the game's release. My favorite new guy is Phalanx. It's like 6 dudes in one, and they dance? That's just dope. My least favorite part of the game was going to the wild area and reducing the fuckers to like 2 HP and paralyzing them and putting them to sleep and insulting the mother, but still not able to catch them because I don't have enough badges. Look at all these cool Pokemon you can't catch yet. Then why are you throwing these guys at me in the first place? Bad game design. Also, having your rival take the Pokemon weak against yours and then you fight them like every 10 minutes removes all the potential tension that were present in the previous games. Rival battles don't feel like events, they feel like items on a checklist, which is honestly the Pokemon experience in a nutshell nowadays. And that's another thing, the game is very easy, to the point of slight boredom. The only point of difficulty I faced was literally during the final boss when Spoomples went down in one hit because I didn't know that Dragon Catapult would have Flamethrower. Why doesn't Pokemon add difficulty settings? People who have played previous Pokemon games will be better at these ones. Also, was there even a story in this one? There's a lot of foreshadowing early on, but no major payoff, with the ending feeling super rushed. The last couple gym challenges becoming walk in a straight line, and all the important story stuff happening mostly off screen. I didn't even bother to go back and catch the dog on the cover of the game. There's dog at home. The biggest post-game content that people do is like shiny hunting, which I mean, to each their own, but I'm sorry, that sounds so fucking boring. All of the controversy that people talked about leading up to the release didn't bother me at all personally. I wasn't even going to attempt to catch them all anyways, so I didn't give a crap about the next cut. I've already seen the older ones, and honestly I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. Yes, the trees in the wild area look like shit. No, the tree looking like shit does not affect my enjoyment of the game. I think the game is pretty good, but I also think the game should have been better than it is. That being said, the last Pokemon games I'd call good were the 5th gen games. The rest since then have been fine, and Shields is no different. But it doesn't even matter how good a Pokemon game is. The games aren't games. They're advertisements for merchandise. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner your expectations will be set appropriately. So for a rating, out of a possible Popeye chicken sandwich, I give it a Wendy's chicken sandwich. You can't go wrong with it, but it could be better. So here's what I really should have called the video. 11 games I played this year I thought were better than Pokemon. Number 11, Golf Story. Yes, I know it came out like 2 years ago. Man, I don't even like non-mini golf, but this is a golf RPG, the writing is hilarious, and the gameplay is fun and simple enough to enjoy it. That's it. That's all I really have to say about it. It's golf. Golf Story is a good game. I highly recommend it. And the sequel's coming out next year. It looks like it has more sports, and actually, you know what? Never mind. I don't like this game. For a rating, I give it a... This game's a tad bit unrealistic because you're a golfer, right? But at no point in the game do you have 7 hookers fall out of the trunk of your SUV. What up with that? Number 10, Daemon Ex Machina. This is a game where you fly around in a giant robot shooting shit. That's it, that's the game. I mean, sure, there's a lot of in-depth customization in your robot and yourself, but whenever I pull up the customization screen, I see all the numbers and categories, and I get so tired. There's also a plot where they introduce all these weird characters and all these different mercenary factions, like, way too fast, and don't take time to explain much, and honestly, I cannot follow it, and I don't care. It's a game where you fly around in a giant robot and blow shit up, and you're playing it for the plot? What's wrong with you? You also reading Playboy for the articles? No, you're reading it for the titty! So for a rating, I give it a Star Wars Episode 9. The plot is dumb, but the movie's fun. I had fun with it. Dishonorable mention number 1, Real Drift Racing. I've been looking for a good drifting game that's not Mario Kart 8, and yeah, I'm still looking. You've probably never heard of this game, and that's good, because this game is a liar. When I hear the name Real Drift Racing, I think of... And you know what this game is? Not that. In this game, you floor it in a straight line and then slam on the brakes and slide. That's it. That's the game. It's not real because... It's not drifting because... And there aren't even other drivers, so it's not racing. The entire title is a lie. I spent $2 on this game, and I want those $2 back. So for a rating, I have a possible Traino, I give it 11. A lion-ass game, fucking slide the car-ass game. Number 9 that I played in 2019, Cuphead, came out for the Switch this year, I'm pretty sure. I love the big band music, and I love the hand-drawn rubber hose graphical style, so aesthetically, I'm a fan. And as you know, I'm pretty amazing at video games. And even Cuphead gave me some trouble after the first couple bosses, which I beat on my first try, because, you know, I'm pretty amazing at video games. The reason Cuphead is hard is for 2 reasons. One of them is valid, and one of them is bullshit. The first reason is limited screen real estate. Look at the path of all the crap being thrown at you. There's things coming from multiple directions and in different timing intervals, and relative to the size of the screen, Cuphead is a pretty large character. You don't have a lot of safe screen real estate. This is a good type of difficulty because a player has to manage multiple objectives simultaneously, those objectives being not getting hit from multiple angles. This is good difficulty. The bullshit difficulty comes in with the fact that there are multiple stages within each boss fight and 0 checkpoints. So, you'll struggle through phases 1 and 2 of a fight multiple times to finally get to phase 3 for the first time and get killed by an attack you've never seen before and have to go all the way back and fight the boss from the start all over again just to maybe get another chance at phase 3. It's an artificial gameplay lengthener, an artificial difficulty increaser, it wastes the player's time, and I don't like it. Being unable to progress unless you do a near perfect run is not good game design. A better way to do it would be to have checkpoints in each phase, or maybe midway through each phase, or literally anywhere, but give a special optional reward if you're able to beat the boss all the way through without dying once. But other than that, Cuphead's a good game. For a rating, I give it a getting hot chocolate thrown on you. Number 8, Ring Fit Adventure. Okay, quick story. When I was in college, I started working out so I could get jacked, so I could get girls, and after 3 years of consistently working out 2 to 4 days per week, my bench press went from 45 pounds to 225 pounds, and you know what? I look the fucking same! I did have pretty nice abs though. But now that I'm older, I'm starting to get fat, my abs are now flabs, so I got Ring Fit Adventure to get swole! For those who don't know, Ring Fit Adventure is an RPG where instead of selecting attacks, you use an elastic ring and a leg strap for damage instead of for sex stuff by doing different exercises as you attack. The game really gives you the authentic RPG protagonist experience because you have to physically run in real life, RIP downstairs neighbors, through all the worlds in order to progress. The goal of the game is to defeat the type of guy you typically see hogging the bench press at Planet Fitness. I have no idea what the game's music sounds like because I'm usually watching or listening to something else while I'm striving to have thick thighs like anime waifu. The game constantly gives you new exercises and game mechanics to jazz things up. what the fuck is this? This is not an exercise. And the game makes sure you don't get bored. It's like the personal trainer I can never afford. It's super encouraging, provides great health tips, doesn't fucking judge you, mom! I've only been playing for like a month and a half, and I'm already seeing and feeling improvements. It's a legit workout. Pretty soon Captain Astronaut will become Captain Abstronaut. For rating, I give it a... Did I just die in fucking fitness? Dishonorable mention number 2, Sonic Forces. Yeah, it came out like 2 years ago. This is one of the funniest games I've ever played. Not intentionally, but ironically funny in how bad the levels are and how over seriously the game takes its vanilla story. Like, I was legit laughing out loud during its awkwardly paced cutscenes. In this game, there are 3 gameplay types. Modern Sonic, where you hold forward and the Y button for 2 minutes, and that's the level. Avatar character, where you hold forward and right trigger for 2 minutes, and that's the level. And Classic Sonic, that's almost an actual game, but the levels are still super short, uninspired, and unfulfilling, especially when compared to Sonic Mania, which came out at the same time. So, you know, surprise, surprise, another Sonic game is bad. If 4 out of every 5 Sonic games is bad, then stop making them. Make something else and come back to Sonic later after you figured it the fuck out! Number 7, Untitled Goose game. You're a goose! And you walk around in nice English hamlet annoying people. What's not to like? The game's not too long, and honestly, if it were longer, it'd get kinda tedious. The game says what it has to say, and ends in a satisfying way. Some of the objectives are kind of obtuse at first, but if you poke around enough things, you'll eventually figure it out. For rating, I give it a... Number 6, Gree. And yes, it's pronounced gree and not gris because it means gray in French. Land of baguettes, ho ho! Gree is an artsy-fartsy game, but like in a good way, where you walk around and do some light puzzle platforming. It's definitely my favorite looking game this year in terms of animation and aesthetic. Simple, yet gorgeous visuals and amazing looking parallax scrolling. As you play through the game, you unlock new abilities and more colors added to the world. It's a very emotional game without accessing any words. All the emotions are conveyed via animation and color. You walk around for enough time and then some red shit comes out of you and gets all over the place. Okay, I'm not doing a very good job describing this game, am I? It's really hard to do it justice, but trust me, it's a good time. My only criticism of the game is that it's sometimes hard to tell what's foreground decoration and what's an actual platform you can walk on, but it's not a big deal. For a rating, well, it's definitely the most immersive game I've played this year. Like going balls deep in a pool full of banana pudding, and you know what? We're just gonna end this entry here. Dishonorable mention number 3, and this is gonna get the video a bunch of dislikes, Link's Awakening Remake. You know, I like how the cute graphical style matches the dimensions of the original, and I love the updated music, but as far as playing it goes, I'll let Christmas Jafar describe my experience with it.
Am I enjoying myself? No.
I don't know what it is, but every time I try playing this game, I just fall asleep. It's so boring, like so boring. I can just read a book or play Pokemon if I want to be bored. There are a number of quality of life improvements from the original Game Boy version, which is good, but I don't think there are enough. For example, why isn't Rock's Feather always equipped as its own button? You ain't no never not be needing it. But maybe I'm just tired of top-down Zelda games since I've played like all of the other ones. But this one makes me feel like Jigglypuff is singing the whole time. I definitely don't think it was worth the full $60 US, and it's the only game I got this year that I legit considered taking back to the store right after buying it. Number 5 best of 2019, Wargroove. It's Advance Wars mixed with Fire Emblem. It's Advance Wars in a fantasy setting. That's it, that's the game. Yeah, you have your main character / commanding officer with you on the battlefield, but that's just a souped up regular character who can't die or else it's a game over. This game does have better map design than the past decade of Fire Emblem, and the enemy AI is really smart, like a little bit too smart. So unlike the past decade of Fire Emblem, you need actual strategy to beat this game on normal difficulty. I do want to talk more about this game in depth in the future because it's really good, so I'll keep it brief here. The thing preventing me from doing that, however, is that I haven't actually beat the game yet, because I can't. I've tried so many times to beat the last level and I can't do it. Without spoiling it, the strategy you need here contradicts the strategy you need for the rest of the game, because if you lose a single unit on the final map, it's game over. But regardless of my own personal struggles, it's a good game. One thing that kind of threw me off was that the main antagonist has this like super sexy voice, and I wasn't sure who I should be siding with after I heard it.
Rise from your grave.
More like rise out of your panties. But yeah, Wargroove is a good game. For rating, I give it a play it if you're good at using your brain or whatever. Number 4, Bayonetta 2. It's Bayonetta 1 but better, that's it. For rating, give it a 2 out of 1. Dishonorable mention number 4, Yeek. A postmodern RPG. Yes, I know that's not how it's pronounced, but that's how it's fucking spelled! You know, I really don't like shitting on someone else's hard work, but I can, without a doubt, say that this is one of the worst games I've played in my entire life, and I will make a video about it in the near future explaining why. That's all I'll say about it for now. Fucking hipster looking ass main characters, fucking pretentious ass game, fucking IKEA ass game. Number 3, Monster Hunter World, the only non-Switch game on this list. Quick story again. Over the summer of 2019, I was finally able to order parts to build my own PC and ran into some difficulty during assembly. Why does the Ryzen cooler not fit on the Ryzen processor on top of the compatible motherboard? Damn it! So I gave up halfway through. Why did none of these parts come with fucking directions? But then I remembered if I finish building it, then I'll be able to play the new Monster Hunter game. So through the power of online tutorials and plugging things in and hope they don't explode, I'll be able to finish the PC, which is how I've been able to stream this year, and able to play the new Mon Hun. Still haven't played Iceborne though. Oh yeah, I should probably talk about the game. The gameplay of Monster Hunter is explained in its title. Half the game you fight monsters, the other half of the game you improve your hunter by using parts from the monsters you already fought to make better armors and weapons to fight stronger monsters. Monster Hunter World is the next generation of that satisfying gameplay loop that's more designed to appeal to Westerners by having really good graphics, lots of quality of life improvements to speed up the simple stuff, and making the game more user-friendly and a little bit easier than classic Monster Hunter. But that's okay, because a good game is a good game is a good game. Monster Hunter games are good games. That's a good game, that's a good game. That's a good game, that's not a good game. Look at this game, there's so many graphics going on, at least 3 or 4 graphics. Who left all these graphics everywhere? Also, this is definitely the darkest Monster Hunter game. Not in terms of tone, but in terms of I can't see what's happening sometimes. However, I'm personally having less fun with it since my friends who played the last 3 Monster Hunter games with me have the PS4 version of World, and there's currently no crossplay, so I've only ever played single player World. Yeah. Also been playing with the Switch controller plugged into my PC, and for some dumbass reason, they switched the attack button and the sheath your weapon button from where they were on the previous 3 Monster Hunter games on the Switch and the 3DS, so a lot of times I run in full speed to shank the monster, and I put my weapon away. Guess I'll just die. For rating, I give it a, there's cats in the game, so if you're allergic to cats, don't play it. So I went back and forth on which of my top 2 games of 2019 were number 1. One of them is the most recent entry in my favorite game series ever. The other is a brand new IP for the Switch that I knew nothing about and ended up being really good. So I flipped a coin. But surprise, this is a 2-part video because this 1-part video is long enough. Find out in, I don't know, a couple of days which game got number 2 and which is number 1. Next time.